Andy, I survived one birthday and I have another birthday today. So Friday
Great.
was my oldest one's 18, and then today is my 8-year-old's. So a little fun bookend to the weekend.
It's exciting, Dave. Your young princesses are celebrating. Are you and your wife being able to keep up with the required, requisite celebrations, I guess?
I we've been able to maintain it. I think we're gonna do a couple other things post birthday. I think my wife's gonna go down to Charleston with oldest one, and then we're gonna have a birthday party next weekend for with my youngest one and all her friends.
Yeah.
Uh, and so it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So we'll have a good time. But always birthdays are fun times, Andy. They're happy times, you
There,
know.
and you've got a nice range of ages there to celebrate, so I think it is a good time. So, hey, congratulations again to the Pounder family. We're happy for you, and this is a great thing to celebrate. So,
Yeah.
happy birthdays, Pounder ladies. Where else are we going today, Dave Pounder?
Well, we're gonna talk a little about what you did over the weekend, Andy. I think a little bit. We
Did
have
you did you know about that? I thought I kept that pretty private. Did you know
you,
about that?
you have a propensity to talk on threads a little bit more than I think you really do. So, for a good time, check out Andy's stuff on threads. That is for sure. So, Andy, I want to talk about what you did last night.
Yeah.
So let's should we just jump into our 3x7s, Andy?
Let's do it, Dave. Let's do it.
O- Okay, Andy, I'm dying. Everybody's dying to know. Deadpool and Wolverine. I saw it the weekend it came out. It did another stellar job this weekend. I think it was like 90 some odd $1 million. It's almost at 1 billion, and it's not even 2 weeks out. It will cross the billion threshold, I'm sure, by the time it hits the official 2 week mark. Uh, Initial impressions, Andy. What'd you think?
Dave, hats off to Marvel
Yeah,
for a fantastic couple hours of pure entertainment,
pure entertainment.
acknowledging their mistakes, celebrating some of their best heroes, acknowledging the past, in what was such a well done movie, Dave, where I think the casual viewer can thoroughly enjoy it, and the dork can thoroughly enjoy it at multiple levels. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much in there. They did a great job, and beyond Marvel, which I mean, I really commend them for just openly acknowledging their failures. But Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman were excellent. I mean, they were excellent in the movie. And I want to be really careful not to say too much. I don't want to spoil it. Still, a lot of folks are still seeing it. And listen, there's a lot to spoil in this movie because there's just so much in it. So I thought it was the best Marvel movie in a long time, a necessary Marvel movie. Some things I was curious to see, like where are they going to go with, but overall, I just thought they really did a great job. I was surprised and impressed and very happy with it. As was my entire family. This was the first time the four of us have all gone to see a movie together in some time. We all walked out of there saying that was well done.
Yeah, yeah. Great recap there, Andy. I mean, honestly, 2 hours and 7 minutes. One, they didn't like if that's a 2 hour and 45 minute movie, that may be a little bit different story. Like it gets 2 hours, 7 minutes, had violence, inappropriate behavior,
Yeah,
foul language. And what I loved about it is it did pull in some of those older characters, and again, we won't spoil any of it, but because at least for another week, and then at that point, you guys are out on your own. But I thought they did a really good job of, you know, just tying all those things together and setting a stage up for the future where you can be like, oh, okay, all this makes sense now. I
yeah,
really enjoyed it. And I left the movie just feeling good. I mean,
yeah,
this again, I talked about this with Wonka, talked about it with Inside Out too. You just leave the movie feeling like that was a good movie and I enjoyed it. I didn't need to see any complexity. I didn't need to think I think you hit on a really good point, like for the nerds who know some of the things that were shown in there, like, oh, that's cool how
yeah,
they did that. But for the people who just like Deadpool and that it was an anti-Marvel movie for so long, you had the violence, you had the inappropriate behavior, you had the foul language.
yeah.
I, it hit all the marks for me, Andy. So let me ask you, Andy, of the three elements, inappropriate behavior, violence, and the foul language, what did you like the most of those three?
It's really tricky. Probably, I think just 'cause it's somewhere between completely inappropriate and slapstick, just
Yeah, yeah,
inappropriate behavior. I mean, just from the very
yeah.
beginning, through getting his uniform on, and just throughout, like Ryan Reynolds, Van City Reynolds, just does such a fun job of playing this creepy, devious, horn dog of a character. It's hilarious. I mean, there is like you can't pick one. I mean, all the different dimensions of the movie make the movie, and they play
Yeah.
so well together. Which is, what's good about the sarcasm, the snarkiness. It's just so well done. How about you though? What really makes it for you?
I think it's the inappropriate behavior. I think like the violence we just come to expect, and I think they did a great job with the scenes with Wolverine and him going hog wild. But I really enjoyed. I mean, just the slapstick comedy and just the way he would insert things
Yeah.
into just casual conversations, and you're like, oh, that's good. I swear I laughed out loud about 4 or 5 times in the movie. So I really enjoy that. And it does come with criticism, though, and I'm not sure I really understand this criticism. I think it's again these small people with loud voices that, or at least on one thing, one they felt like this was here's the movie that's going to save the MCU and this is going to set us up for years. I think it did it,
Yeah.
frankly, for one. So I don't understand that. Two, the other one is I'm so tired of Ryan Reynolds. It's just over the top. Like, what the fuck did you expect? Did you not watch the first and second Deadpools? Have you not watched his Mint Mobile commercials or his gin commercials? This is Ryan Reynolds, and he was masterful at it. And then I think the third one was, oh, I didn't like the villain on it. And I'm like, come on, like 2 hours, 7 minutes, great action, great comedy. I mean, I just, you guys are just looking for something, or get the fuck out of your basement. I don't know, Andy.
I mean, you've always got the complainers, Dave, and I mean, I think it did what Marvel needed it to do, right? It
Yeah,
brought
I
back
agree.
fun and humor. Again, it made fun of Marvel's own shortcomings of recent years. I mean, like, there's a line, this isn't a spoiler, right, where he kind of looks at the camera as he often does in Deadpool movies and says, you're coming in at a low point, right? Referring to Marvel's current state of movie making right now. And it just all of that, and poking fun about the history of the acquisition of 20th Century Fox, and there's just so much to just laugh at. And a Marvel saying we got off track, things went sideways and got away from us. We're looking to make a correction here. Look, this leads into, as we talked about last week, Dave, the new Avengers movies, the Doctor Doom, the return of Robert Downey Jr. What looks, I think, like a very promising Captain America movie. I'm
Yeah.
excited about that one. So I think Marvel's saying, hey, look, we got a little too crazy with the MCU, the shows. We're fixing it. And so if you want to complain because you're a complainer, complain. If you want to go
Yeah.
see a good movie and spend your movie dollars wisely, a fun
Watch
investment
it.
of resources, a fun investment of your time. I gladly say, and I walked out there thinking, you know what? I need to watch through the other Deadpool movies again to like bring myself back up to speed. 'Cause it's been a while and I've forgotten a lot. And I was like, I would love to go back and just watch the whole series again and appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean those ones when those are great rewatchable movies when they're on cable. Like I'm flipping through the cable channels and I see Deadpool or Deadpool 2 on,
Yeah,
I'll immediately go to that and I'll just start what scene are we at here? Oh, I love this part.
yeah,
It's great. I think they did a really good job. I just want to address, I know we're at time, Andy, but I want to address one other thing. When they talk about you talked about Captain America, and one of my favorite movies, Captain America, was Winter Soldier. It's my
yeah,
favorite Marvel movie because it's not interconnected Marvel shit. Like it stands on its own as somewhat of a political thriller action movie, and that's what I'm excited about Captain America: Brave New World. Not how it connects to the overall Marvel universe, but just as a good movie. I mean, this looks like a political, like a good suspense movie. Yes, Red Hulk's in it. Yes, there's going to be a lot of cool, characters in it. But I have to tell you, like, this looks like this is what Marvel's at its best. They have a standalone movie that they can connect into other things, but it's not the threshold. You don't have that one single movie that ties everything together. And if you don't see other things, that's what Deadpool was to this time. It's
yeah.
a great comedic and action movie. let it stand on its own and don't worry about how it's going to save the MCU because I think it frankly did. So, all right, Andy, great review, great stuff on that. So okay, let's transition to sports,
All
Andy.
right,
We're not talking football, even though that's getting ready going
getting ready
full.
to, getting ready to.
We'll have plenty of time to talk football, Andy. I'm looking forward to our weekly recaps beginning in a couple weeks, Andy.
Yeah,
But let's keep on the Olympics thing, Andy. Andy, as much as I love Deadpool, I love the Olympics. I have rediscovered my love of the Olympics.
yeah,
Like the last couple cycles, I have cared. Yeah, I watch the medal tracker. I see was, but I am watching this every night, and I am watching some of these activities every single night. I mean, swimming was awesome. Gymnastics was awesome. And the track and field. Usually, I'm not a huge track and field person, but I was glued on some of these races. There was the 4x400 meter relay race, the mixed ones. I love these mixed races where you can, like on swimming, they have them, and track and field,
yeah,
they have them, these
yeah,
relay races. They're amazing. But Andy, what I'm loving the most is when I see the winners, whatever country they may be from, are celebrating. They have representation and pride in their flag, and they're doing it. Of course, I love it when the American athletes win. But look at. I was watching the 4x400 relay, and the Americans set the world record in the semifinals, and then they lost in the finals to the Netherlands. But the way the Netherlands runner caught at the end was just
yeah.
amazing. And then to see them so excited at the end, this is what the Olympics is about, Andy, and I just love it. And so I'll just stop there. What are you have you had any of these experiences, Andy, with the Olympics or what?
I think if you go in and you're not that guy grumbling on the couch, like you're not looking to complain about something, like it's just inspirational, right?
Yeah.
These young athletes giving everything they have to be their best. I mean, obviously we've got other fun moments like the Turkish shooter meme, which is just going everywhere all the time. It's just hilarious and
Oh,
fun
that's
to
great.
see as well. But I mean, to see these gals and guys go out there and just do everything they can, and again, during the Olympics, like we all are patriots for whatever country you're coming from, right? We're all just celebrating our country and its success, and we're able to celebrate other countries' remarkable success. And like, I mean, so you mentioned like track, like seeing St. Lucia win the gold medal was just it was amazing in the 100 meter women's track, right? I mean, obviously we want the Americans to win. We did great, right? Silver and bronze, two fantastic runners, but seeing this little island nation was just a fantastic athlete. I mean, she is big and strong and fast and incredible. Go out there and win. It's just so inspirational. I mean, the Olympics are wonderful. You don't have to know the athletes, right? You learn about them as you watch, but it's so fun to celebrate and to celebrate our country. I mean, I'm loving women's soccer. I always like women's soccer, but seeing these young ladies out there, seeing Dennis Rodman's daughter go out and have a great game this last game, right? But
Yeah.
seeing them go out there and compete, great game against Japan, seeing the individual athletes out there. Again, we mentioned Katie Ledecky and Simone Biles, obviously. Just I mean, there's so much to celebrate. Now we're in track and field, and so obviously we've got Lyle's out there doing a great job. I mean, he's a interesting character, but a dominating presence, on the track, doing great things. It's just so fun. So I'm enjoying it. I'm not watching like it's not on my screen all the time. I'm keeping up with it. I'm watching it. I'm seeing the highlights. I'm seeing some of the events. It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, so I mean, the other part about like that Lyles, that 100-meter race was
Yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah,
The fact that the announcers called it for the other guy, thinking that they won, and then show the what the photo finish was by point 1,000 of a second, or something
crazy.
stupid. Like it was like Lightning McQueen. I saw a lot of those memes
Yeah,
from the original Cars movie. Andy, the other piece that I just love about the Olympics is look at like I'm just looking at the American team. Look at all the diversity that we have on our athletes and how they're just proud. Like get rid of like I know we hear too much of the hate. We hear too much of like all the stuff that's going on in our country with all the election stuff going
yeah,
on and all that rah-rah shit. But I have to tell you, like to see like the swimmers, like one of the relay teams, white girl, black male. Asian woman. I mean, that's our relay team.
Yeah,
That's what America is, Andy, and that's what I love celebrating. And so whenever you think about America should be this, America be that, we are a country of immigrants, Andy, and it's the best of us coming out and showing, and they all wave the red, white, and blue, Andy. They're all wearing our uniform.
yeah.
That's what America's about. And I just love seeing that. And it's in every country. I mean, you see all of so much diversity in all this. And it's amazing that when this ends, we can go back to some people are going to go back in their holes and hate on something. And it's just frustrating. But I love seeing that, Andy. So I've been enjoying the Olympics.
Yeah, I'm with you on that celebration, Dave. I mean, and that is why you see it around the world. I mean, there's many countries that have, athletes and citizens from a broad range of places, and you're seeing it more and more. I mean, you're seeing it in pro soccer. You're seeing more and more. I mean, a young man like Lamine Yamal, of Moroccan descent, and now a superstar in Spain. You're seeing more of this, but America is unlike anywhere else. I mean, the extent of our diversity, one, it's a huge team, and it doesn't look like anything. It just looks like everywhere, right? I mean, everywhere is represented, and it is beautiful to see. And you're right. I mean, there's just grown individuals going to look at that and they're going to mumble and complain about this or that or the other. But for the rest of us, like we look at it, and we're like, these are Americans, and this is America, and this is who we are, and it's beautiful and wonderful and diverse and crazy, and it's probably people with many different beliefs, religions, everything, and we're all celebrating the red, white, and blue, and the fact we can all be different, think different, do different, play different sports. We're committed to excellence and passionate about it, and we're wearing the stars and stripes, and it's awesome. And I just absolutely love it. So I think that's a great point, Dave.
Yeah, and with all of this, Andy, some great images that come out of all of the Olympic
Yeah,
stuff. Did you see the surfing one, Andy?
phenomenal, right?
Yeah. The image of the surfer with his board, it's almost like he's levitating. And you showed it to me, so of course you saw it. But I have to tease the audience a little bit, our listeners. But that was a great image. And I know you're a big surfing fan, Andy. So
Yeah.
but Andy, so did you watch any of the surfing stuff?
Yeah, so I did watch it, and I did enjoy it. I have been enjoying it. I am a big fan. I'm limited to being a fan. We talked about, I think, a few weeks ago. This is one of my great goals. I don't have a lot of things that like I say I have to do in life. Surfing has been on my list since the fifth grade, and it will be achieved, David. It will be achieved. But this picture was just phenomenal. I mean, it's amazing. I'll share it in the threads post with this podcast. It's incredible. But it reminded me, Dave, of I go back to fifth and sixth grade, and I fell in love with surfing. I don't remember the origin of it, but I remember subscribing to surfing magazine, and I would just flip through those pages and see these guys and gals, in Florida and California and Hawaii and Australia, and just seeing them on their boards and in the half pipe and touching water. And I was just mesmerized by the idea of getting in there and just feeling that, just feeling the wave, feeling the ocean, feeling sun. I hadn't been to the beach much at that point. My family had gone to the beach when I was too young to remember. My current family, my immediate family's tradition of Virginia Beach pilgrimages and other beach celebrations came 15 years later. So this was just something that was out there that I was just awed by. Like kids around the world are awed by different things. For me, the ocean, the water, the surfboard, it was just amazing. And so I love, so surfing magazine is one of these things that I just grew up with and loved. And it got me thinking, Dave, like, as Gen X guys here, looking back over the 80s and 90s we grew up in, were there magazines that sort of you remember and hold on to as like fond memories of growing up?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, Andy, because I had three. There were three that I really were looking through. One, if you don't like, it's surprising to some, I would imagine, but I was an Eagle Scout, Andy. So,
Yeah.
so in the Boy Scouts, so there used to be a magazine called Boys Life. I don't know if they still have it or not, but it was a fun little, it was a scouting type of thing. But I always loved when I got that thing and I was just read through it. So a lot of cool little articles. So that was one. The other one I really enjoy, obviously, Sports Illustrated
Yeah.
was like anytime Sports Illustrated, and we didn't subscribe to it, we did not do a lot of those subscription stuff, but I just remember going to like dentist's office or doctor's office, and you're sitting in
Always
the
there.
room, and they always had the latest Sports Illustrated. I would always open it up, and I would Sports Illustrated has gone through a lot in the last 30 years or so. It'll never be the same as it was in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. I mean, the columnists that they had in there, you just love reading. I love the little like the stats that they would put into it. They used
Yeah.
to have like the go figure type of thing. And then faces in the crowd. They had a now I knew they moved some of that to online, but it's just not the same. Like it's just not the same plopping up into a Sports Illustrated, seeing who was on the cover of that. It was such a big thing. And then the last one, I think I'll say is this is much younger, Dave Pounder, but Highlights magazine,
Oh
Andy.
yeah.
The for like more of the kids stuff. Now we subscribe that today for our 8-year-old, and I'm still flipping through some of the still like the matching games you do, some of those like just the fun stuff they have. And so those are the three that came to my mind. What other ones did you go through?
Yeah, those are all really fun memories. I know all of them. I knew highlights. I think every kid knew highlights growing up in the States. I knew what Boys Life was. Didn't know well, but
You had to
obviously,
be a nerd Boy Scout, Andy. You had to be a
yeah,
nerd.
I was a Cub Scout for like I think like half a year because I really wanted to be, and then like I think my den just fell apart. I remember, but that did turn me on to Teen Titans and helped
Oh yeah,
get into comic books. So another story, but obviously Sports Illustrated. I mean, iconic, right? I mean, that was just all of us grew up with that, and still out there being successful today in different ways. So for me, obviously the family had magazines around. Like my mom always had like Time magazine and things like that around. But like sort of the things that got me excited and looking more towards like my middle school and high school years, in addition to surfing, I think two others that I really like, I loved and would get excited about. One, as we've talked about, Dave, like I grew up loving WWF and pro wrestling and the
yeah.
early WrestleManias. And Pro Wrestling Illustrated was a super fun magazine. I'd go and pick it up at the 7-Eleven, and then later I'd subscribe to it. And it was just a fun way to like get excited about these superheroes in the ring, seeing Macho Man Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior, and reading about their adventures and everything else. I used to love that. It used to get me really geeked up. And the other, as I got a little bit older and really into weights, was Muscle and Fitness magazine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Seeing those guys, I mean, the up and coming bodybuilders at the time, and we were young, like guys like Kevin Levrone and Flex Wheeler, and these just superheroes, right? I mean, it's just phenomenal physiques and young guys, and it's just so exciting and motivating. Reading articles, from Franco Columbo, like I used to love that. So, in addition to my comic books, in addition to fantasy novels and choose your own adventures and Dungeons and Dragons, like going through those magazines was just super fun for me, and I always really enjoyed it. So I think it was awesome. It was awesome to have those. I don't think kids enjoy magazines the same way today. We're
No.
on Instagram and TikTok and everything else. It's a different way to consume. You're not like reading about these, heroes and their stories and getting excited about, who they are. I mean, you're watching them on video and listening to them, so I guess it's a different connection. But to me, that was just such a fun part of growing up.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, nothing replaces having it in your hand. I mean, I think I don't know, it just feels different, and to be able to open that up, and I get it, the cost saving to go move into digital and stuff, and there's just so many cool magazines out there, and I'm sure they're still out there, but it just doesn't feel quite the same. And one of the other ones that I remember, and I was never a skateboarder by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it was called Thrasher
Yeah,
magazine
that's
or
right.
something.
That's
That
right.
was another one, especially with Tony Hawk was coming up
Yeah,
big in the
yeah,
80s, early 90s and such.
yeah.
So that was again, never a skateboarder. I had failed experiences doing it, but I always envisioned that was pretty cool, and all that other fun
Similarly, I
stuff.
used to get in BMX mags. I used to love BMX, and at one point I built myself a pretty cool bike with all my favorite parts and all these wild colors, and
Oh
it
yeah.
was pretty cool. And yeah, so like I'd watch BMX magazines and early freestylers like Eddie Fiola, and I'd be like, oh, these guys are unbelievable. And then I'd go try some trick and once again crack my knees open, and my poor mother would have to endure me walking in the house bloodied and all that. But it was a lot of fun.
Always fun, always fun. So that was a good run through, Andy, for some magazine stuff. That's a good one through for a Monday, isn't it, Andy?
It
So
is. It is a good Monday indeed, David. The first full week of the month of August. I mean, here we
yeah.
are. The year's moving along. And Dave, we're rapidly approaching 1 year of entertaining America. So I
I
mean,
I know. I think September we
yeah,
kicked this thing off. We had been talking about it for so long, Andy, and we're almost at that 1 year mark.
yeah,
A lot of episodes here, Andy. That's good stuff.
yeah.
I certainly enjoyed doing it.
That's all I could ask for, Dave. That's all I could ask for is your joy.
All right, Andy, we'll have a lot of fun stuff to talk about on Wednesday, no doubt. But I'm sure there's well, hopefully there'll be a vice presidential announcement for
Right?
Kamala Harris coming up here soon. But we'll see. And then we got a hurricane coming in. There's a lot of news going on, Andy. So,
A lot happening. A lot
yeah.
happening.
So, all right, Andy, with all that, we'll wrap up today and I'll catch up with you next time.